Hi, I'm Craig Taylor, and as always, a huge thank you for taking time out of your day to join me here on my YouTube channel, the Bushcraft Padawan. Regular viewers and subscribers may feel that this looks a little bit familiar. You may remember back in February I came and did an overnighter in the woodland that I've been very fortunate enough to get permission to wild camp in, do some overnighters and practice some bushcraft skills. And I'm back here again doing another overnighter. You may also recall that I said that when I go out and do these kind of days out or these overnighters, that I always like to have something in mind. I always like to have some sort of project or tasks or things that I want to experiment. And whilst this month is no different to that, there is something a little bit unusual about it, and I'll show you what that is, reveal what that is very, very shortly. What do I want to get out of the next 24 hours or so? Well, this bushcraft location that I'm in now, you may recall me building this back in February. I'll link to it up here somewhere. With the benefit of hindsight, with the benefit of looking back at that video that I recorded, I'm not sure it's the best location. I think location-wise it's good. I just think that these two trees that I've picked to act as my supports for my ridgepole, which is up here, I think they're too far apart. That ridgepole has got a little bit of bounce in it. As I put more and more of these infrastructure poles on, I'm just really conscious of the weight that's adding to it. I want to find two trees that are orientated southwest to northeast facing, as I discussed in my previous video, but I want to be able to find trees that are that little bit closer together so that they're supporting that ridgepole far more. So that's the one thing that I want to get out of this overnighter. I want to replicate exactly what I've got now, but with trees that are marginally closer together. Hopefully that will just be a few minutes of scouting around. The other thing that I really want to do is I am taking part in a 12-month tree and plant ID masterclass. Again, I'll link to the playlist up here somewhere. I'm now out in the woods, I'm out doing bushcrafting. So what I really want to do is I want to identify something for definite whilst using it, rather than just thinking that looks suitable, that looks familiar, I'll use that. I actually want to be able to say I am using this or I am using that. So I want to put what I'm learning into practice. And then let me have the big reveal now. Here it comes. The Bushcraft Padawan's Padawan. This is my son Finley, he's 9 next month, and he's joining me on this overnighter because, well, I'll let him tell you. Why are you joining me? What is it you're hoping to get out of this?
Dave Canterbury's tasks.
It's Dave Canterbury's tasks. What do you mean by that? What are you doing online at the moment? What have we been working on for the past few weeks?
We've been working on notches.
Notches, yeah.
First aid.
Yes.
Some
navigation.
Tree ID.
Tree ID, good. We've been working on a whole range of things. And what are these all part of? Who's come up with this plan and put it online?
Dave Canterbury.
So Dave Canterbury, who many of you will be more than familiar with from Self-Reliant Outfitters and the Pathfinder School, Dave's put together this program, this progressive program for children, for youths, to get them into being outdoors. So it fits perfectly with what I'm doing. I'm at a beginner stage of this, Finley's at a beginner stage of this, and whilst I try and help him out and show him as much as I can to the best of my knowledge, what I don't have is that bigger picture as to how to progress people through these skills. So Dave's come up with this brilliant idea, completely free. There's a Facebook group that tells you more about it, and I'll link to that down below. It's got its own YouTube channel, and Dave has put together this very, very valuable but quite simple program whereby you start at kind of Finley's age and skill set on a Trailblazer program, and like he said, he's been carving notches, he's been getting to grips with some knife skills, tree ID, some first aid, there's some campcraft, which is why he's joining me on this overnighter. So what is it specifically that you want to get out of this overnight? What skills are we going to try and practice that Dave's told us to put into practice, to try out?
One match fires.
Yes, got to light a fire with one match, fingers crossed.
Some cereal and oats for breakfast with some dried fruits in.
Yeah, so you've got to cook a meal, and Dave's been quite specific. There's got to be some cereal with some fruit in there, so something quite healthy. So you're going to do some cooking.
Make a...
Go on. Try.
tripod.
Good, he's got to make a tripod as well, so he's got to find the right wood for that, and he's got to use some lashings and frappings. So there's quite a few things that we can do at home, which you've been doing really well at that, incredibly well. But there's also some things where you could still do them at home, but we thought, let's do it out in the environment, let's do it as an overnighter. So over the course of this video, you're going to see me pottering around with a few things, but I also want to use it as an opportunity to capture what this little bushcraft ninja is doing and be able to use that as some evidence for the program that he's undertaking. So thanks for watching. I'll see you at the end of this video and let you know how we all got on with the various things that we've come away to get to catch up with on this overnighter. Should we crack on?
Bye.
We aren't going yet. There's going to be a bit after this, and then we'll say bye at the end.
Okay.
So not bye.
One.
Put your feet on it. That's it, and pull it.
Done.
So if you remember at the beginning of this video, I said one of the things that I wanted to have a look at was the specific location where I'd put my previous ridgepole and started to make this shelter. I felt that the trees were too wide apart. I was putting too much effort into creating a shelter that was bigger than I needed, and I also had some concerns about the stability of that. Well, I've moved probably about 15 feet parallel to that, so my ridgepole is still sort of in a southwest to northeasterly direction, and I mentioned in my previous video, I'll link to it up here, why that's the case, because of the prevailing wind conditions. But if you notice here, this is now one end of the ridgepole support, and this is the end of the original pole here. So you can see there's probably about 4 to 5 feet of pole that I ended up supporting that I didn't need to. There was 4 or 5 feet of extra roofing and extra insulation that I needed to put on that I didn't have to. And also this end of the pole here, that the part that's behind me, that's the thinner end of the pole. So actually it wasn't as rigid, it wasn't as thick, it wasn't as supportive as that end of the pole that's out of camera shot. So all in all, yes, I should probably have made a better site selection to begin with, but like I always say, and I'm always learning in this game, and it was only after reflecting upon it and watching the video back to myself did I think, that looks huge, that shelter looks massive, and perhaps more importantly, that supporting ridgepole doesn't look very sturdy, which of course is a safety concern. So I've spent an hour or so this afternoon moving it, and I feel a lot more comfortable with what I've done. Good lad. Get it in there, Finlay. Start lighting stuff. But yeah, anyway, right then. Lift it upwards now, lift it upwards. This way up. Right, get it in there. You got it lit. You got it lit. Things all singing, all dancing, toggle.
Yeah. Things. Oh yeah, that's good.
So you join us back at Taylor Towers. It's 25 to 6 in the evening, so I thought we'd do a quick check-in to let you know what we've done during the day. So do you want to start off? What have you achieved today from your list of things?
Made a tripod.
Yeah.
We've made a one-match fire. We've made a tinder bundle. We've made a TP fire lay. I helped Dad put logs onto our new shelter.
When he says we've made, what he actually means is that he's done it. I told him what to do and gave him the direction, but he went off and cracked on. So he's managed to crack a huge long list of things that he needed to do. I only really had 2 things to do, and I've probably achieved 1.5 of those. One was to relocate the shelter. I mentioned earlier on in the video that I'm much happier with where it is now, and I'm much happier with the stability of it. You can see that I've got a tarp up here, so it's still not finished. I've still not got all of these 45-degree supporting beams on. I need a lot more of those. I need a lot of debris on top. It'll come together in time, but today was all about getting Finley's work squared away. And yes, he managed to get in that. He did help me put a lot of this together, so I can't even claim credit for that. The other thing that I wanted to do was to use these newly found ID skills, and I identified quite a few sprouts and growth of hazel, which we've used for the tripod, which is just out of shot here. You may be able to just see it in shot, but we used some hazel for that, and I identified it due to the way that it was growing. There was a few little sprouts and shoots of leaves on there, so they helped me to identify it. But all in all, a relatively productive day for me, but an outstandingly productive day for this young man, eh? Got a lot done. So we'll probably check in again as we're in bed or just getting into bed, and I'll have a talk through what we've done there, and then maybe, time depending, see you again in the morning. What do you think?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. See you later. Morning. So here we are, the morning after the night before. It's 7:51. I've been up just short of an hour. He's been up much longer than an hour, wandering around the woods, having a wee. So we're going to head off back home very shortly. Do you want to let people know how you were overnight? Was it warm enough? Were you too cold, too warm? Did you have a good night's sleep?
Exactly right.
Well, you were too warm and too cold.
No, but I was in the middle.
It was in the middle, just right, a bit like Goldilocks. Okay, it was a good night's sleep. Brilliant. So in terms of what I wanted to get out of this overnighter, we've moved location, which was perfect. I did some ID, some tree and plant ID, but I think it's not until you become aware or become acutely aware of all of these different species of trees and plant and things around you, like I've become on this course, that you start to realise just how little you know. We went for a walk last night through the woods, didn't we, when it's getting dark. Just so many things, so many petals and flowers and things that I just thought to myself, wow, I really don't know a great deal about this, which is of course why I'm doing the ID course. So it reaffirmed what I already knew, that I knew very little. All of these plants and shrubs could have been wonderful foodstuffs. They could have been amazing addition to the meal that we had last night. I just don't know. So that's, like I said, that's the reason I'm doing the ID masterclass. We saw quite a few things out last night, didn't we?
Yeah.
Wildlife wise, what did we see?
We saw a deer.
We did. We got really close, didn't we? It's
Yeah,
quite a young
baby
one.
one.
Yeah.
Uh,
Do you remember what we saw as we were coming up that hill at the top?
a hare.
So it was either a massive rabbit or a hare, wasn't it? You saw that. So it was good to get out and take a walk at last light, just after last light. You enjoyed putting the head torch on, didn't you?
Yeah.
So what did you get out of it? What did you learn whilst we've been out?
How to make a tripod.
Yeah.
How to start a fire with one match. how to make a bird's nest, how to make porridge in the wild.
One of his tasks was to make was to make a hot meal with oats or porridge and put some fresh fruit in there, some dehydrated fruit, which he's munching his way through as we speak. Would you do anything differently next time?
Bring gloves, because in the morning my hands are cold.
So he didn't bring any gloves with him, so that's partly my fault for not reminding him, but there we go, we'll learn next time, won't we? So that's the March overnighter that we've done and dusted and got out of the way. Hopefully you've enjoyed watching it, hopefully it's made you smile. If nothing else, just seeing what the Padawan's Padawan has been up to. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to put one together in April, because in April I'm actually going on a weeks-long course with Paul Kirtley from Frontier Bushcraft. So already a big chunk of April is going to be bushcrafting, and I'm not entirely sure how feasible it is or how acceptable it's going to be for me to drag my camera out. I might try and do some end of the day shots, if you like, things that I've learnt during that day, so you'll probably be hearing from me during April as well. But other than that, thank you ever so much for watching. Not the normal video, I know, because we've been chatting with Finny during this. Hopefully you've enjoyed that. Not the normal video, but thank you for watching. If you're a subscriber, thank you. If you're not a subscriber, please would you consider becoming one? If you've liked the video, give it the usual thumbs up, and feel free to share it with any of your colleagues or people in your network that you think might find this useful. Thanks ever so much, guys, and thanks for watching.
Bye!
You can say bye now.
Yeah.